Sting. All right, joining me now, ladies and gentlemen, is Republican Congressman from the great state of California, Darrell, Issa, former chairman of the Government on Oversight and Government Reform and author of a great new book, Watchdog, the real stories behind the headlines from the congressman who exposed Washington's biggest scandals. There it is on your TV screen. Hello, Congressman.
Hello, Steve. And, it was interesting. While I was waiting, I was reminded that you might have the next Vice President of the United States on the cover, because right here is a line by Newt Gingrich touting the book. So it could happen.
You took that from me. I was going to say, and I was going to ask you and probably say that you have a favorite in this horse race. So let me ask you, what do you think is going to happen? We could be 28 to 48 hours away on Trump's choice. Who should he pick?
Well, it's very difficult to eliminate somebody, but I'll put it this way. Newt has been a confidant of mine. He has me on his speed dial. He calls me with ideas, and he has lots of them, and they're good. He does know Washington like perhaps no other member, and he was there at critical times. So obviously a good choice, seasoned, and needs to be. I remember when Donald said he'll be in my administration one way or the other, and I take comfort in that. I have to be honest, Mike Pence and I came into Congress together. I watched him as a freshman working together, and I watched what he did before he went off to lead Indiana. So a personal favorite, because we kind of grew up in Congress together, is Mike Pence. He's a solid conservative. He would bring an unambiguous point to the ticket. No one would doubt that there's a solid conservative in the room. And I think there's a value to that. So both good choices. Each has a different slight take. But if you ask me to go with just one of the two, I'll go with the guy I got sworn in with, but for no reason other than, in fact, I know him that well.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad. I appreciate your honesty on that. Let me ask you, there's so much to get to and so much in your book. I mean, you're the guy that I think of, and it's all in this book, Watchdog, because you are the watchdog. And, whether it's the FBI, the IRS, or Benghazi, or whatever the scandal or the controversy, you were the guy who's been for years leading the charge, asking the tough questions. Yesterday, you guys had there was Loretta Lynch. And she didn't answer over 70, possibly by the time it was over 80 questions. And she was so vague and non-forthcoming, she wouldn't even answer Jason Chaffetz's question if lying under oath is against the law. What was she pulling yesterday, Congressman?
Well, when I got to ask her questions, I almost asked her, would you please tell us the questions you will answer? But that probably she would have said, that's not our job, but I'll refer you to the record. She misled people in her answers many, many times. She obfuscated is the new word that they're using for what other people would use an L word for. But in some cases, she misled so much that the American people need to understand. For example, I asked her very specifically, were there political appointees in this process that led to no charges to Hillary Clinton? And she kept repeating about how these were career lawyers and dedicated public servants. Well, what she wasn't answering is, yes, there were people who were politically appointed. They serve in that particular role at hers and the president's pleasure. And so in some cases, she went so far as to not answer the question in a way in which she misled the American people. That's a problem. What's really a problem, of course, is that on the face of it, the FBI director delivered violations of the law and no indictment. Well, if you can violate the law and there's no indictment because you're so important, because you're Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton, then in fact we have two standards in America. And that's why, Steve, my question was, what do I tell my 47,000 Marines of Camp Pendleton, right, and all these other people that work in the defense industry? They handle secret stuff. They make one mistake, they lose their job, and maybe go to jail.
Well, Congressman, let me ask you. Dennis Ross, your colleague in the House, has called for Loretta Lynch to resign. Do you agree with that?
Well, there's always hope, but it's not likely. She is very much trying to see that she can
I'm
fit
sorry,
the space of a new Hillary Clinton.
You said there's always hope. Is that indicated you would like to see her step down?
I would like to see her step down. Quite candidly, she's been a huge disappointment because she didn't answer our questions honestly, and that's all we really asked. You know, she could have said, I listened to these people, I decided not to, I'm not sure that any jury would convict, let's move on. Instead, she went out of her way to tell half-truths and outright refer us to things that made no sense. As you said, she wouldn't even answer the question about the definition of perjury. Yeah. But you know, we've got to remember, I have a kind of an odd situation with attorney generals. I was the only chairman ever to hold a cabinet officer in contempt. Yeah. Eric Holder has the distinction of being so wrong in his actions that, in fact, a federal judge appointed by President Obama ordered the very documents and thousands more that he said he didn't have to and shouldn't turn over. He was ordered to turn them over, and some of them contain very specific documents showing that he was part of the cover-up. He was part of urging people not to respond properly to our subpoenas.
Yeah, well, but and I applaud you for holding him in contempt along with the rest of the House. Let me ask you this. Newsmax.com has a story up that I urge everyone to go to about the FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton. And the FBI agents involved had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, including something that's very rarely signed, a case briefing acknowledgement, which an unnamed retired FBI chief told the New York Post is very unusual. I've never signed one or seen it circulated. What do you believe is going on with that?
It's a double standard. It's the Clintons wanting to put career federal employees in a position where they can't talk. It's a gag order because each of these people, like most cops, saw enough to know that somebody else would be indicted for what she did, and now they're in a position where they've signed a document. They'd be sued by the very powerful Clinton organization if they violated it, and unless Congress does what we should do, which is actually bring these individuals, it won't be before September, but bring them and ask them. Give them the opportunity to answer a question in an arena in which that document means nothing. And I'm hoping we'll do that. I'm hoping that the Speaker will support, if you will, looking over the shoulder properly of these law enforcement people that supposedly unanimously found no indictment.
Congressman, there's a lot of frustration in the book Watchdog. We have 30 seconds. With what we've discussed so far, how could you assure the American people we still have a government we could trust?
Well, we don't have a government we can trust, and we never should. What the book does is it gives you hope not only on some legislation that's been passed, the Data Act that makes materials more searchable, FOIA expansion, which was just passed, which makes it easier to get the data you want and the information you want from your government, and with additional laws passed to rebalance things properly, to get to the courts quickly, we can, in fact, we can know as much about our government as they know about us. But it's hope, not currently law.
Best of luck. Thank you so much. The book, Watchdog by Darrell Issa. We're coming back with Kristen Tate.